Welcome to Fashion Your Seatbelt, your first-class seat to one-on-one conversations with the fashion industry's top voices. I'm Jessica Michaud, and I created this podcast to share the joy I have in getting to know all the amazing people who bring this creative, inventive, and extraordinary business to life. You'll get to hear the cadence of their voices, the sound of their laughter, and feel firsthand how passionate they are about what they do. But before we get this show on the road, I want to say a quick thank you to GPS Radar for making this episode possible. GPS Radar is the members-only website where leading fashion brands and media connect. Also, I just want to remind you to leave a review. Stars are really trending right now, and it helps other very stylish listeners like yourself find the show. Now buckle up, and let's get started. Leaf greener is a fashion force of nature.
Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Trend is a fashion industry produced to wash your brain.
To the ill-informed, she might seem like just another concrete catwalk celeb with a bright smile, a bubbly personality, and who happens to look great in eye-catching outfits. But Leaf is so much more than that. After 6 years as a senior fashion editor at Elle China, she launched her own digital magazine called Leaf, which she publishes on the leading Chinese platform WeChat. It was a move that helped transform her into one of China's most influential independent fashion editors. She is endlessly being courted to consult leading Western luxury houses on how to work in China, and has made a business out of educating her compatriots on the art of fashion, while she continues to fight for more creative freedom in her own country. What I like most about Leaf is how unabashedly frank she is. She speaks from the heart, and she says what she thinks. Damn the consequences, which is a rare and refreshing thing in our industry. So get ready to experience a real fashion treat as, between puffs on her cigarette in her hotel room, Leaf lays down the law about what is working and not working in this industry that we both love. So Leaf, thank you so much for speaking with us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
I just wanted to go back. I guess we can start with something easy. I wanted to talk about your childhood and growing up in China and Beijing and what that was like and kind of your first contacts with fashion.
Oh, first contact. I remember when I was young, so my family have this kind of atmosphere, like they always really into fashion, and they always, buy beautiful clothes. And I remember my mom read a lot of high fashion magazines and watch, fashion TV. So I remember I just watching fashion TV. So I watched the fashion shows through that program. So I just got so inspired, which is I want to become a fashion designer. So I told my dad, and then my dad said, you have to study art first. So I studied art, fun art, and I went to universities to study fashion design major. So I supposed to graduate as a fashion designer, and unfortunately, I failed during the process because I cannot handle the production. So I become journalist and stylist.
So you graduated with that degree, then how did you end up becoming a journalist?
I just had an opportunity to meet some editors long time ago for different magazines in China, and then I was starting to write some articles for a newspaper in China. Later on, I got an opportunity to be a freelance stylist, to be able to involve a lot of shooting with different magazines in China, in Beijing especially. So then just like that. So I was freelance for a while and then became editor later on. Well,
let's talk about your style because you have a really strong aesthetic, lots of bold colors, lots of bold prints. Is that something that you got from your mom, or is that completely your own? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I think just because my personality is quite colorful, I feel like me, myself, and I, it just could be a three different person. It's like a gypsy student, philosopher. So for me, it's just like I like to play with the clothes, it's just a reflection of my personality and my thinking.
So you were freelance stylist, and then you came on board and you were the senior fashion editor for Condé Nast Self magazine, and then Elle China.
Yes.
And then eventually also guest editor for Vogue China. How did, during that time period, how did China's relationship with fashion kind of evolve and change as you were working there? Did you see a big shift during those years?
One thing I've been noticed changing a lot is just the way we are support the young Chinese designers, I feel for this part, at the beginning for this business, most of the magazine, they don't really support independent Chinese fashion designers. And I think for this part, it's getting, developing later on. Mm-hmm. And then another part is I feel for the bigger part is just the way how we, deal with fashion. We try to build up our own voice.
I remember when we spoke not too long ago, you said that in China it was hard to be creative because you didn't have freedom. That was one of the things you said to me. Do you think that's still the case? That in China you can't, there's this limit to the creativity that's possible because there's a limit to the freedom in China?
Yes, I think it's still there. Mm-hmm. I think it depends how you see freedom. I think right now, nowadays, look at around the world, it's just freedom is very limited. Like, personally, I feel, China still have this issue to be able to be really open-minded, have a, very strong freedom, environment for the creative class. But, right now, our new president, Xi president, I think he's trying so hard to help the people, especially young entrepreneur companies, to be able to really, build up their own, creatively, field. So I think he's trying, but it just cannot change one day.
Mm-hmm. Now, well, you did something that was quite bold and creative in your own way. You left these great, big name publications, Elle and Vogue, etc., to launch your own WeChat magazine named after you, Leaf. What made you decide to leave the safety net of those kind of big fashion publications and launch your own thing?
Well, I think I just want to do something different, first of all, and second of all, I just want to try to have more like individual voice. I'm just sick of just doing the same cliche, stories. That's why I decide just to do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And
what are you doing different? How, when you talk about cliche and what you're doing, how are you setting yourself apart from what maybe the Chinese fashion-loving, person sees from these more traditional publications?
Well, I believe digital world is still have a place to be, developing in very educated, solid way. It's not like everybody doing digital, everyone is shit. It just depends how you use this tool. It's just like money. It's the same thing. It's very neutral. The bad people use money. And the good people use money. It's a charity. Mm-hmm. And then so I feel like a digital world is the same thing. As a print editor, graduate and experience, I always adore print and I admire traditional and, I respect traditional and the way how to editorial the stories, in fashion. Also, I admire old-fashioned. I'm still writing notebooks, Each year I have one notebook, I write down things. I don't do, the notebook, just iPhone, something like that. And so I believe, digital could have something better, So that's why I launched, this WeChat magazine through WeChat app, which is a social media app. The way I'm thinking to doing WeChat magazine is like a curated to cure a exhibition for a museum, So that's the way I want to do it. I know it sounds crazy because who's gonna read that? It's like, they just, everybody love gossip. Teachers is only for gossip, But I don't do that. I hope and I wish one day we need some rules for the digital world as well. Like how many fake news over there?
Yeah, I know. Well, and then also I remember we were talking about that. You said like in China, there's a lot of, you take a press release that's given to you and it's just reworded, whereas
yes, exactly. A lot of like the website or the bloggers in China who's doing digital work, and they just copy, and translate that. And for the Chinese readers, I mean, they don't know because they've been blocked by the Chinese government, and also we don't speak English. We have only maybe 10% people from the population who can understand English or speak really good English. And then we need to put this law, and not only for China. This is the same issue around the world. We can see.
Yeah, a standard, a code of conduct.
Yeah, definitely.
As a fellow journalist, I absolutely agree with that. There should be a code of conduct.
Yes, yeah.
Sure.
So,
well, talking about relationships and maybe a code of conduct, I know you work a lot as, giving advice and doing partnerships with brands. Can you talk a little bit about that part of what you do, this kind of ambassadorship and working with brands?
Which part? Being a model or just the consultant behind the scene?
Well, both. I mean, you are definitely one of, the concrete catwalk's favorite people to photograph. There's that aspect of it. I mean, is that something that do you have deals with a brand to like wear certain things, or is it all you and you're styling yourself and you put on whatever you want? And then also talking about the brands and how you team up with them for events, etc.
I only like to work with the brand. I truly believe the value of the brand, the brand's philosophy, and then that kind of brand I would love to work with, and in the long term, win-win relationship, and then. So that's why for me, that's another reason I quit,
That's why you quit the big publications, because you wanted to have that freedom.
I respect my company. That's their decision to decide which brand they work, which brand they don't work, But the in-house as an editor, you have to respect that. And I respect that too. But for me personally, I'm thinking, it's just like I need a change, personal way, because you always have to face to yourself what's the next step to grow more. So for me, it's that stage is over, because I feel like I studied enough as a print editing in-house. That's why I go independent and I work with a brand who I truly believed. I help them, giving advice about how they're developing in the Chinese market, because it's so complex, it's so complicated.
Well, let's talk about that then, because that was definitely one of the questions I wanted to ask you, which was this understanding or misunderstanding that Western brands, luxury brands, have coming to China. Like, what would you say their biggest misconceptions or the things you have to kind of explain to them?
The Chinese market, just like you really have to be there to do some research and study, to be able, at least be able to walk around the city, not just stuck in the hotel room. They really have to get involved with the culture and talk to the people and try to make friends with them.
So then what brands would you say are getting it right in China?
I think Hermes, luxury brand. I'm talking about luxury brand. I'm not talking about fast fashion brand. Luxury brand, I think Hermes is doing quite well, understanding about the Chinese culture. Not because they haven't, they launched another brand called Shangxia, and only support the Chinese, traditional craftsmanship, that kind of, culture, and helping the craftsmen, shipment, and produce and create a very beautiful product. I feel that every time, for example, they're doing an event in China, they always think how to link with the local culture in different way. It depends what kind of event they're doing, and also the way they're doing events. So I think they're doing pretty well. on this case. That's why this still sells very well,
Yeah,
in
well,
China.
it sells really well everywhere. You talked about using yourself as a way to promote brands that you liked, and you mentioned that China is starting, and Chinese consumers, luxury consumers, are starting to also appreciate locally grown designers. Which Chinese designers are you really excited about and want to promote?
I really like Hui Shanzhang, who is based in London, and his collection showing during London Fashion Week as well. So I think he has the vision and also has the skill to be able to build his brand as a, like a brand, not just independent designer.
Let's talk about you. What is your next big challenge? What's your goal? What's your next mission for your brand, the We magazine?
I want to produce something really solid and qualified contents. No matter what I do, I want to send a message. I just don't like to do anything, waste my time, waste your time, Yeah, so I think so many junk food in the world. Why I be the one of them? So that's my.
The goal
thing.
is not to be junk food.
No.
So where do you see fashion going? When you look into the future, where do you maybe want it to go? How do you want it to change or shift, or where do you think it's headed?
I think we have to stop being fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
In what way, fake?
In many ways.
Well, what? Fake with your Instagram posts? Fake in the way I don't know.
The way how we promote, the way how to say a show is brilliant, our designer is so genius, we never see the thing before. The people we use as a model, ambassador, anything, just from the beginning to the end.
All right, so to finish, I have, because I've interviewed people for 20 years, and there's always these kind of 5 generic fashion questions that you kind of have to ask everybody. So I'm going to ask them to you now. So, you ready?
I'm nervous.
All right, so what is the most treasured piece of clothing that you own?
My pajama.
Your pajamas?
Yes.
Any pajamas will do, or are you like a silk jump,
I need pajamas works.
You just want pajamas?
I just love pajamas.
Why? What is it about pajamas?
It's just freedom.
Okay.
I give you the freedom and comfy.
What is the one item of clothing that every woman should invest money in?
Oh my God.
Take all the time you want.
I think everything.
You think everybody should invest in quality in everything?
Yes, that's a luxury about, right? I hate fast fashion because when people buy it and then they, without thinking, they buy again, they throw away. It was like 7 weeks, From the research I heard, it's like 7 weeks gone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very
no,
scary.
7 days.
7 days?
7 days gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
so basically they wear it until they have to wash it. Instead of washing it, they throw it away.
Yes, because it's too cheap for most of people, And then it's like, oh my God, the planet. We are the second industry to pollution the planet, the earth.
Yeah, the fashion industry.
First is oil business.
So fashion industry just after oil.
Yeah, exactly. How crazy is that?
Who is your favorite designer, living or dead?
Oh, the dead one? Balenciaga.
Did you see the exhibition, the Balenciaga exhibition here in Paris?
Yes, so beautiful.
Yeah.
My God. So good. Yeah, I love him. Yeah. And the dead one, no, the living one right now, Miuccia Prada.
Okay.
Oh, can I see the retired one?
Sure.
Margiela.
I love your choice. So Balenciaga, Miuccia Prada, and Martin Margiela. I think that totally explains you as a person. Those 3 people are so different and so unique, just like you. What is one fashion trend you will never follow, that you will never do?
All the follow trends. I hate trends. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Trend is a fashion industry produced to wash your brain.
Good. Okay. No following trends. Got it.
No.
Final question. What do you love most about fashion?
Creativity. Yeah. creativity, I think that's I love most. And then right now I feel that's creativity. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of copy. So it's just like life is another copy of another copy, like a Fight Club. Like what Fight Club said.
Lee, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you
time.
so much too.
Thank you. Don't want to miss an episode of Fashion Your Seatbelt? No problem. Just go to iTunes or wherever you download your podcasts and click on the subscribe button. Then every new episode will drop into your feed automatically. No fuss, no muss. Fashion Your Seatbelt is made possible thanks to the wonderful people at Launchmetrics, the software company that is powering the fashion industry, and GPS Radar, the members-only website where leading fashion brands and media connect in style. I am a member of GPS Radar, and I can tell you, as a journalist, it has made my work life run much more smoothly. Believe me, I know. I'm Jessica Michaud.